welcome back to Stove. Today we're gonna do the
Welcome back to Past and Pen, the podcast that dives into the coolest corners of history and brings them right to your ears. I'm Rosie Talley, children's author and history enthusiast. And today's episode is all about summer fun, the kind your great-great-grandparents might have had. Picture this, no air conditioning, no video games, and yet summer was still a blast. How did kids keep cool? And how messy could a pie eating contest really get? Let's dive into the past to write a new story. Let's start with something sweet. You know that sound, the one that makes kids drop everything and run outside? Yep, the ice cream truck. But did you know the very first ice cream trucks didn't play music at all? In fact, the very first ones didn't even have engines. Instead, ice cream men used push carts or wagons pulled by horses, donkeys, or even goats. In the late 1800s, kids heard a different kind of jingle, the hokey pokey cry. Vendors, called hokey pokey men, rang bells or shouted rhymes to get your attention. Because when it's hot, nobody ignores the words, hokey pokey, sweet and cold, for a penny, new or old. The chant might sound funny, but it likely came from an Italian phrase, "okey poco," which means how little. And little is right. Back then, a scoop of ice cream might cost just 3 cents or 2 scoops for a nickel in some places. Why was it so cheap? Well, because most hokey pokey ice cream didn't actually contain any real cream. It was often thickened with things like cornstarch or gelatin. It was still cold, and it was still sweet. And on a hot summer day, sometimes that's what matters. Now for a fun fact. One of the first frozen treats, the Popsicle, was invented in 1905 by an 11-year-old kid. He left a cup of soda with a stirring stick outside overnight during a freeze. The next morning, ta-da, a frozen treat on a stick. That kid's name was Frank Epperson. And for nearly 20 years, he didn't sell his chilly invention in stores. At first, it was just something fun to share with friends in his Oakland neighborhood. But by the early 1920s, Frank realized he was onto something big. He started selling his Popsicles at Neptune Beach, a bustling amusement park in California where people could ride roller coasters, swim in the saltwater plunge, and now munch on frozen fruit sticks in the sunshine. The name Popsicle didn't last for long, though. Frank's own kids started calling them Popsicles, and just like that, the Popsicle was born. And thanks to that one chilly accident on a frosty night in 1905, the world now has hundreds of flavors and colors. Who knew a late-night mistake would become one of the most beloved summer treats in the world? Of course, no summer is complete without something sweet, but what if just one treat isn't enough? That's where pies come in. Big ones, messy ones, and a contest that gets, well, a little ridiculous. Let's head over to the county fair for a pie eating contest. These berry-stained showdowns have supposedly been around for centuries, with some tracing their roots back to medieval Europe. But the first recorded pie eating contest in North America took place in Toronto in 1878. A group of boys dove face first into blueberry pies at the local fair. The winner was a boy named Albert Piddington, and just like that, a new summer tradition was born. The rules, deliciously simple. No forks, no hands. First one to finish wins. Faces only, mouths wide, berry goo everywhere. These contests quickly became a highlight of county fairs, 4th of July celebrations, and harvest festivals. And while grown-ups sometimes joined in, it was usually the kids who made the most fun and the most chaotic. Pie eating contests were just silly games. They were a way to celebrate the summer's harvest and enjoy the simple, delicious joy of getting just a little sticky. Today's pie eating contests come with official rules and shiny trophies, but imagine being remembered more than a century later, just like Albert, for doing nothing more than smashing your face into blueberry pie and winning. After a pie eating contest like that, there's really only one thing left to do: rinse off. Let's head to the pool. But don't bring that pie in with you. That's a health code violation. I'm just kidding. But public swimming pools haven't always been the fun, splashy places we know today. The first public pool in the U.S. opened way back in 1868 in Boston. And it wasn't meant for swimming. It was meant for bathing. Back then, many homes didn't have running water, so cities built bathhouses to help people stay clean. Soon, cities like New York and Philadelphia opened similar public baths in the 1870s through the 1880s. These early pools weren't built for play. They were part of a public health plan. Leaders thought giving people a clean, cool place to wash up might help stop the spread of illness during the hot summer months. It wasn't until the 1920s and 30s that cities began building recreational swimming pools with diving boards, swimming lessons, and spaces for people to cool off and have fun. Bathing suits were made out of wool. Yes, itchy, soggy wool. And many of these pools had strict rules. Boys and girls swam at different times, and people had to follow schedules and rules about what was quote unquote proper behavior. And here's something important. Not everyone was allowed in. In many parts of the country, Black Americans and other people of color were denied access to public pools, or they were only allowed to swim on certain days, often just before the pool was drained and cleaned. It wasn't fair, and it was part of a bigger system called segregation. Thankfully, people worked hard to fight those unfair rules, and today public pools are open to everyone. Ready to dig into more tasty tales and facts? Here's a reading list that's just the cherry on top of today's episode. Ice Cream, The Full Scoop by Gail Gibbons. Food Fight, A Mouth-Watering History of Who Ate What and Why Through the Ages by Tanya Steele. The Boy Who Invented the Popsicle, The Cool Science Behind Frank Epperson's Famous Frozen Treat by Renaud. The Lemonade War by Jacqueline Davies. 444 plus facts for sports kids, The Swimming Edition by Dr. Rabea Hadi. Judy Moody and the Not Bummer Summer by Megan McDonald. The Penderwicks, A Summer Tale of Four Sisters, Two Rabbits, and a Very Interesting Boy by Jean Birdsall. Summer of the Monkeys by Wilson Rawls. Now it's your turn to take a bite out of history. Grab your pen and get ready to write your own sweet summer story. Imagine you're a kid in the 1980s spending a summer day at the town fair. You begin your day with a messy pie eating contest and end the day cooling off at the brand new public pool with a wool swimsuit that feels like a wet sweater. Write a story from the point of view of this kid trying to enjoy the perfect summer day. What's fun? What's frustrating? What would surprise a kid from today? If you write something from today's episode, I'd love to hear it. You can share your stories, drawings, or ideas by emailing me at pastandpen@gmail.com. From ice cream jingles to itchy swimsuits and pie-covered noses, one thing's clear. Summer has always been full of fun, even if it looked a little different in the past. And hey, maybe next time you see an ice cream truck, you'll think about those horse-drawn carts or that 11-year-old kid who made popsicles by accident. Thanks so much for joining me as we explore the past and let our pens do the talking. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. If you're listening on your favorite podcast app, leave a review. It helps more curious minds like yours discover the show. You can find sources, the reading list, and the writing prompt on my website. The link's in the show notes. And hey, if you know someone who would enjoy this, share it with them. New episodes drop every other Tuesday at 4 p.m. So mark your sundials, set your hourglasses, or just let history repeat itself and tune in. Oh, and check out my Patreon. Starting at just $1, you'll unlock fun perks like birthday shoutouts, early access to new episodes, and even a chance to have your voice featured on the show. Each month, you'll receive a new password to use on my website where you can record your answers to a question of the month. I can't wait to hear your answers. Stay curious and keep writing your story.
Subscribe to my channel.